for joining us back at the Made Wonderfully podcast. How are you guys doing today?
Hope all is well.
Yes, I hope you all are doing well. Thank you so much for coming back today. How are you feeling, sis?
I'm feeling good. How are you?
I'm feeling good. A little bit, not nervous or anxious or anything, but just like, like when you know the topic that you got to talk about.
It's deep.
Yes, and you're just like,
But you can do it.
we can do it.
We can do it, yes.
We can do it, and we're going to do it. So without further ado, I think we should just dive in.
Let's dive
We're not going to
in.
waste our time. So, like we told you in the intro, we're going to be going through different parts of our lives that God has used, I feel, as examples to help grow us into the young woman that we are today. So today we're going to get into childhood from ages 1 to 8 and the things that has happened within those years that made like a great impact and created lessons that we learned that we can now look back as testimonies. I can go first if you want. Or do you want to go first? How do you feel?
I think I want to just, I'll go first.
Okay.
Because I just kind of want everything to come out as they need to.
All right, yes.
So, I think we're talking about traumas from 1 to 8. I feel like the biggest situation that has impacted me even up till now is really not having my dad.
Girl, we got the same topic. By the way, we did not pre-talk. We wanted this to flow. Okay, girl. Yes, let's get into it.
Let's get into it, right?
Yes.
So it's like our first love is our dad. And I just feel like I didn't have that. And for me, it's hard because I got into relationships and it wasn't able to guide me on how I'm supposed to be loved and treated, okay? Granted, I'm not saying that the people that I chose to date are bad people, but I just feel like how I stuck around really impacted me really, really bad because I didn't have him in my life to really show me and love me and guide me. And that's also not to say that my mom didn't try to find love and try, in her dating to like stepdads and stuff like that. But it's like, just not having my dad hurt, it really did hurt me. And I wanted to say, I'm that type of person that little things matter. And so one thing that impacted me is not even him showing up to like small things like shows. Like I would look for him in a crowd because I'm thinking like my dad gonna pop up. And I don't know if you have a relationship with your dad. I know of him. I know he's around. I literally speak to him twice a year, and it hurts because it's just like, whew, you know where I live, you know my number and all that stuff. And it's like, now that I have a daughter too, it's hard because now I need to show her a representation of what love is. And then since I didn't have it for so long, I don't even know how to show her that. So I say this to say how this impacted me is not having my dad in my life impacted me into not knowing how to be treated and loved in the relationships. But what I'm doing now is, of course, therapy through all the trauma that I'm going through. Whew. But, oh, we call each other cool.
Yeah.
Can I say that?
Yes, you can say that.
I'll say Aaliyah.
You can say, we'll do like a short story time another time on the name, how we got the name.
Aaliyah. Sis.
Yes.
I say what I'm doing now is I am fixing my relationship with God. That's what I'm doing right now to, I don't want to say overcome, because I just feel like that's a journey that I really do have to take my time with. But really connecting with God and learning from Him what it's like to be loved and treated correctly is really helping. I hate to say fill the void, because I really do want a relationship with my dad, but I'm also in a space where I'm just like, you're the parent. I don't want to continue like reaching out to you to fix it when I'm your daughter. You understand?
Oh, I get that. Yeah.
So it's impacted me deeply with relationships. It's also impacted me deeply just as a woman as well, because I also felt like he hasn't shown up for me, and I just feel like abandonment. And I just felt like abandonment issues, maybe that's other things that have occurred, like with trauma and stuff, which is having abandonment issues where I stick around longer than I should because I didn't have that relationship with my dad because he continued to walk out of my life. So I feel as though when I get into a relationship, I needed to work and I needed to last because the relationship with him didn't last. Ain't that deep? Ain't
Girl,
that
I
deep,
know
y'all?
exactly what you're talking about. I
So
do.
I'm really trying to stay focused, and I am really trying to make sure to remind myself that I am loved, that I am needed, that I am wonderful. We are made wonderfully, and that with or without his relationship doesn't really, I don't want to say conclude, I'm trying to find a word, but it doesn't really shape what my love life is going to look like or whatnot.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, like I don't hate him. I truly wish him the best. I still pray for him every single day for his health to make sure that he's okay. And I do cherish whenever I do get to talk to him. But it really is a misfortunate time or event where it's like we're not connected. And to be honest with you, I don't know why. And yeah, I'm just trying to leave it as I can't force things. You can't force relationships. But just not having my dad really is something that it sucks. Yeah.
I will have to piggyback off because that was, I feel like, the most impactful thing that has happened to me too between the ages of 1 to 8. I would
Yeah.
say that was very impactful. Very similar to you. My father was in my life up to about age 5, so I definitely was daddy's princess.
I love it. I love it.
Daddy's princess. So, like, I have some memories of my father, but they're very little. And I do hold on to the memories that I don't even know if he's dead or alive. Because we haven't spoken, I haven't seen him since. So for me, it's that. So I have and I feel like also, like, another side that hurts is that I don't have any connections to his side
I
of the
was just
family.
about to ask.
Yeah, like, I have, like, no connections. So, like, sometimes when people even ask, like, they look at me and they're like, oh, like, what are you? And I'm like, I'm black. And they're like, no, but what else? What else? I'm like, I'm black. But they're like, okay, no, but, like, culturally, like, what country are you from? I'm like, America. And they're like, okay, but what else? And it's just like, my dad is from Guyana. And they're like, that's it. And it's just like, for me, like, the reason why that's also, like, a really hard question is because, like, I have, like, no connections to Guyana at all. Like, I culturally barely know anything about Guyana. So it's just like, I know pepper pot.
We love ourselves some pepper pot.
Like, but, like, so for me, it's like, culturally, technically speaking, I am African American and culturally Haitian. Because I
Listen.
know more and I've been more in the Haitian culture. Shout out to my
Yes.
sister Lindsay. A big part of my life. So it's just like, just the family, like my Haitian side of the family. Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's like I know more of that. So, like, my African American side and the Haitian side more so than, like, my own bloodline of from my father's side of Guyana. So it's like I don't even know my aunts, my uncles, my brothers and sisters. So that's always also, like, a hard question when people ask, like, how many siblings you have, because it's like
Don't know.
I technically don't know anymore. Like, I remember, like, my older brother on my father's side a little bit. I think I have a sister. Don't remember. He has other kids, and I think that's the part that sucks the most, is that he got to raise my brothers and my sisters,
Felt.
and
Felt.
he chose to leave out on me. So that part is the part that always hurts the most, is like knowing that like they had my dad there
And you didn't.
and I didn't. So growing up, it always caused, and this is where, like, if you've seen the first video where I said I'm an overthinker, where it starts to play in my mind to overthink, like, what's wrong with me? Why did he leave me? He raised all his kids except for me, so it has to be something wrong with me. What's wrong with me? Okay, I gotta be perfect. I gotta be perfect for everyone that comes into my life, so that they don't leave me again.
Let's get through it, because that's what we're here for.
So that they don't.
Get through it. Get through it. It's okay.
Yeah, so that's really where, like I said in the first video, that perfection syndrome, it comes from, it stems from there first. Feeling like I'm not enough.
But you are.
And I know, like, again,
But it's hard to
like
get
my
through.
relationship with God definitely helped with that. But that is definitely it. And then it also caused me to be more so in isolation. Like, I feel safe with me in a way that I feel like I can't have externally. So it takes me a while to, like, open up.
And
that's,
trust.
Yes, and that's where, again, the shy part comes in, which is why I said I don't know if shy is a personality more so than it is from trauma, which I know is more so from trauma of not just, like, my father. I've seen, like, listen, if you grow up in the hood, staying in a child's place is a privilege. I hate that sentence, stay in a child's place. It's like, I wish I could stay in a child's place. However, when you grow up in the hood, you're exposed to every single thing that it is impossible to stay in a child's place. So at the age of 5, all I'm thinking about is working hard to make it out of the hood, to provide for my family. How can I provide for my family? How can I work? I'm only 5 years old. Nobody's going to let me work up in no McDonald's. I wanted a job.
It's like, do we really have a childhood?
Yeah,
like,
so it's like,
we've been an adult since 5.
since a kid. So it's just like, it is just like a lot. So,
Yeah.
whoo, child, I'm trying to remember where I left off at.
That's
but
okay.
yeah, so it's just like, when you just see a lot of things, it causes you to be like, oh, some people aren't trustworthy. Maybe you should, like, not be so willing to be so open right away, because you never know how somebody may want to use you or set you up. So yeah, when you live in the hood, you see people get set up. So you gonna want to, like, keep your circle tight, keep it locked in.
You learn to use your discernment.
So, like, honestly, it kicks in. So yeah. So for me, it did impact the type of relationships I started to enter. I would say I started to kind of date, not seriously date, in high school. I had my little first whatever, but we'll talk about that later on. But but I noticed the pattern, and I remember when that relationship, I don't even know what to call that, dating experience. I feel like it's more like dating more
Is
than
it puppy love, I guess?
Yeah, I was puppy love, and I would say it was more like dating than calling him like a boyfriend.
True.
But through that experience, I'm glad I went through it, because it showed me, like, oh, I am hurting about my father. And I didn't know that. Like, I thought I got over it. I thought I didn't care. I thought, like, I don't need no man. I'm independent. Like,
keep showing up because you didn't heal from it.
So I was like, so once that ended, in, like, the way it ended and the way I reacted to it ending, I was like, why am I reacting this way? It's like, I don't even know homie like that. Like, I don't even really know him.
But you're looking for him in
But it's
different
like,
relationships.
But I was like, why am I taking this so hard? Like, why am I taking it hard? And I was taking it hard because, one, I wanted to prove that I was good enough to not be left. So for me, it wasn't even like about him. It was like, I want this to work, to prove to myself that I'm good enough to stay with. And it's just, so once I figured, like, oh, okay, you have daddy issues. It took me years later to figure out you got to go to therapy and work on it. But I just listen, it's a process. But yeah, I was just like, okay, daddy issues. All right, cool. Now I know what it is. I'm like, because like honestly, that just in that experience, it was like, whoo. Because I thought I loved him, and I was trying to figure it out.
You're trying to hold on.
I was trying to figure out, it's like, why am I acting? I don't even know this boy. This is crazy behavior.
I get it.
Child, I crashed out. Kennia was there. I crashed out there, and I was like, oh, damn. I was crashing out so bad. And I was like, I don't even know this child like that. I don't even know him like that to be acting like this. But nah, I have many crash out stories, but we're not going to get into that.
Yeah. That's a whole other
story. But I would say what I took from that is, one, to get a better relationship with God. Mm-hmm. And he is my heavenly father, and he is a good father. Amen. And getting more into the Bible, seeing the type of man, the type of, just seeing what God is and how he loves, makes me make better decisions and to discern the type of people I let into my life.
That's important.
Yes, I can say that I did heal from it. The reason why I do cry when I think about it, it's not because of the version I am now. I cry for the 5-year-old girl. And that, it's like when you see yourself, like almost like an out-of-body experience. And I now look at those different versions of myself as a child. And like I'm like the mother. So it's like I look at her and like I just want to hug little me. And tell her, like, it's going to be okay.
I felt that twice. I felt that double just because I'm looking at my 5-year-old self healing her. And now that I have a daughter, it's like I'm really trying to make sure that the history doesn't repeat itself.
That part.
But at the same time, it's also like, dang, it's like I'm parenting twice.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So I totally understand where you're coming from when you're like, I am really trying to hug my 5-year-old self from, you know, that is not her fault.
Yeah.
It's not.
And like, girl, like you are enough. So it's like, I want to hug her because that is the 5-year-old version of myself experience. And I don't want to diminish how I felt because of the Hill version of me, if that makes sense. Because the Hill version of me could just talk about it and it'll just be like water up a duck's back. But I wouldn't be honoring the 5-year-old version of me, like how she felt in that moment. And when I speak about those experiences, I see it from the 5-year-old girl point of view. And that part breaks my heart that I thought of myself based on someone's decision. The grown version of me thinks that, like, yeah, you didn't have your father, but what if you did and he turned out to not be a great father? So it's like, in my mind, I'm idealizing him.
It's like a blessing and a curse.
Yeah, because it's just like, at the end of the day, I really don't know what type of man he is.
That's true.
But what I do know is the type of man who does that. Is that the type of man I would want to be in my life as a father? The type of man who can even think that would be okay.
You wouldn't even need a representation of that because then you would have moved right into that.
So, right, exactly. So the good thing I would say that definitely came from it was me being very choosy about my body.
Okay.
And who I let into my body. And being very, like, the one thing I knew when I was growing up, because I started to really go to church when I was like 5, because my godmom took me to her mother's church, and then I came home and I told my mom, like, Mom, do you know about this place? It's called church. Like, you gotta take me. Like, no, this is really the conversation. I was like, but of course, like, my mom knows what church is because,
she's like, girl.
She knows what church is because my great grandmother and my grand aunt and uncle, they actually have a church.
Oh, wow.
But it's just like, I wasn't, before 5, my mom wasn't taking me to church regularly, so I didn't know about church. But in my family, there's a lot of preachers and stuff like that. So, like, she knows about church. I just wasn't going.
She's like, are you new here?
So I was just like, Mom, you got to take me. I'm going to show you where it is. It's up the block. You know, it's like, you just walk and you turn and the church is right there. Like, you got to take me to church. And it's because it felt so good being there, like feeling the Spirit of God. So when I was growing up, I always wanted to wait till marriage.
Yeah.
Life happens. Okay. And I'm not saying it in a way like that I throw
felt
myself
that.
out, because I never did. That was the one thing I've been always picky on, and am a late bloomer. Basically, I don't spread myself around. But have I ever had sex before? I have. Mom, well, my mom knows. Okay,
I mean,
like she acting like I don't know. But what I will say is that because of the mixture of my father and my upbringing in the church, I knew that I was never, ever, ever, ever going to be like a baby mother or just have a kid outside of marriage. And by marriage, I don't just mean getting married and saying I do. I mean like an actual, real marriage, like a good marriage. Because without that, I was just like, I am not going to like bring a kid into this world to feel the same way as I felt.
I was the opposite.
You were.
I was the opposite for sure.
What was the opposite?
I feel like it's the same and opposite. Like, you know how you said, like, you just knew not to be, you knew to be choosy. Like, you know how to pick them. For me, I've seen the men that the women in my family dealt with, and I knew they were no good. So I knew not to turn to those things. However, I still didn't have that real representation, because sometimes looks can be deceiving. So, like, I can look at, like, the way I was thinking was, like, okay, he don't look like this. He not doing this. So, like,
He's a good guy.
He's a good guy. And I thought I picked the right one. And then my thought process was, I did get married. Nobody else in the family got married and, like, went through with it and started a family, and everything was great. But I've never saw the behind the scenes. And I lived the behind the scenes. And I'm just like, oh, this is hard. I don't know how I'm going to do this without having a reputation of what loves look like, because I thought I knew that wasn't love that they were going through. So I'm just going to make up
what you think of it,
basically. So yeah, it's hard.
Yeah. But I'm glad I got that off my chest.
I'm glad you did. How do you feel?
I feel good. How do you feel?
I feel refreshed.
How do y'all feel? How do y'all feel? I hope y'all feel okay. If you want to talk about anything you resonated with in the comments, we are going to reply. We are going to talk back to you. If there's anything specific that we said that you want us to elaborate on,
Please
let us know. If there's any specific topic or situation that you may be going through that you may want advice on, or to see if we have a similar situation. Like we said, we got endless amounts of things that happen. We just chose one traumatic thing, but trust me, there was a lot of things going on between 1 and 8.
babe.
A lot. So if you want something else, just let us know and we'll do that for you.
Yes, this was nice.
This was nice.
And I'm glad we are growing from it and grown from it.
Yes.
Because it's going to take a while. For me, it's going to take a while. But I'm really happy you let that out.
Me too.
And I'm proud of you. You know that, right?
Me
Your
too.
5-year-old self is proud of you, too. I want to let you know that.
I hope she is.
She is.
Okay, good. Because we worked a lot to get here, girl. Can you imagine if my 5-year-old self was like, but you could have did. No, that would have been funny, though. But no, yeah, we worked a long ways to get where we are. So I'm very proud of us.
Yes, we got this.
Yeah, so thank you for tuning in to Made Wonderfully podcast, and we can't wait to see you in our next episode, y'all. Stay locked in with us.